All right, Dr. Roberts, as we get started here, of course, we reported this morning that there is a confirmed case of measles in Ashtabula County. It seems far away, but I'm sure people will start to ask, what do I need to do? How can I take action to protect my family? So what would you say?
So I would encourage all of our residents to make sure they're up to date on their vaccines. If they have a child who is 12 months of age or older, reach out to their primary care provider, make sure they got at least their first dose of the MMR vaccine. And you want to make sure that your family is protected against all vaccine preventable diseases that they're eligible for before you do any travel around spring break and as we prepare for the summer, which won't be too far away.
That spring break element is really important because this person had been around somebody who traveled internationally.
Absolutely. As we all prepare for any type of travel, but especially international travel, we want to be aware of all the infectious diseases we could be exposed to. But we also know there are things we can prevent some infectious diseases like MMR for measles. You can get the vaccine, the MMR vaccine, and it is recommended that everyone 12 months of age and older have their first dose. And your second dose is due between 4 to 6 years of age, right before a child matriculates into kindergarten.
Can we break down the age? What if my baby is not quite a year, but I'm around somebody or I have some concerns about getting a vaccine?
That's a great question, and we get asked that a lot. So, when we had the measles outbreak here in Columbus in 2022, we had many families who were concerned about their children who weren't eligible yet for the vaccine. Your child can get vaccinated before 12 months of age if you are concerned, or if you're planning some international travel, or if you know you've been around someone who could have measles. You can talk to your pediatrician or your primary care provider about that. What it means, though, is when your child is 12 months of age, they would need another dose. And so they'll end up getting an extra dose. They'll end up getting 3 doses instead of just the 2 doses. But that is something that is available and it is recommended, particularly when you're in an area that has a lot of measles cases.
And can we go to the other end of the spectrum? What if you were a kid who had a vaccination book and you don't know the status of your protection against measles?
Yeah, well, there's no clear recommendation that you have to get a booster if you are an adult in an area that has a lot of measles cases. If you were born after 1957, it is assumed that you had measles or you were vaccinated against measles. If you're really concerned, you can go to your primary care provider and ask them to draw some blood, also known as a titer, to see what your immune status is for measles. But most individuals, again, born before, after 1957, have either had a natural infection or were vaccinated, and a booster is not necessary.
And I know that you've been watching what's happening in other parts of the country, specifically Texas and New Mexico. Do you can you talk a little bit about how CPH would be ready for more measles cases here? Do you see a time when there'd be clinics to get people in to get vaccinated?
Sure. So you recall in 2022, we had a large measles outbreak here in central Ohio. We had 85 cases. 36 of those cases were hospitalized. And we responded appropriately by getting the message out to our community, offering the MMR vaccine at a variety of different places. We are prepared to do that again if need be. We've already communicated to our healthcare providers in our community that they should be on the lookout for measles. We've also encouraged them to get their patients up to date with their vaccines. So we are ready and prepared if it were to come to our community, and we feel confident that we would respond just as effectively as we did in 2022.
The last thing I want to ask you, Dr. Robert, many people in the community know you and your advocacy for vaccines. Is there a word that you can say about the safety of the MMR vaccine?
Very safe. If I had a child, I would vaccinate my child. I have no hesitation. The MMR vaccine has been around for decades and has been given to millions of people and is safe, and it does not cause autism.
Dr. Mysheika Roberts, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.